So first headline for today is Move Over Zoom. This magic interface is the future of video conferencing. So obviously we all know that Zoom has exploded since we've all started working from home. But when we do go back to the office, many of us actually will probably end up continuing working from home. Twitter just recently announced that they're going to allow everyone, whoever wants to work from home indefinitely. To counteract Zoom fatigue, a design firm called ArcDesign has come up with basically an artificial window, which is what you see here in the slide. They're very creatively calling it the square. Basically, this LCD screen would go on a wall next to your desk, very similar to like a TV. And the idea is that when you raise the shade, you'll be able to see a coworker or two working right next to you. So the frame has 4 small cameras embedded in the frame, which create a kind of cool 3D version of your coworkers instead of sort of like the flat Zoom frame that we're all used to. And then the idea is that, you know, using the window, you'd be able to do meetings, etc., or be able to just sit and like work next to your coworkers as if you're in the office. So first question to you all, are we using technology in a way that actually leverages the benefits of working remotely, or are we just recreating all of the annoying things of the office, like distractions?
Yeah, I 100% think it's the second one. We're seeing a ton of these, especially right now. You know, a lot of these work from home or collaborative workspaces platforms are coming out and raising on the backs of like a really, really strong past couple of months with COVID. And every single one that I've seen is really trying to just recreate the office environment at home. And some have like really good ways of doing it. There's a company called Tandem that has a super interesting like public conversations forum where you can have a public conversation and then someone else can drop into that chat in the same way you might overhear someone. And it's interesting, but I think ultimately, if you try to replicate an in-person environment, you're just setting yourself up for failure from the beginning. It is inherently different. And I wish I saw more stuff that was trying to take advantage of the good parts about working from home versus just trying to like get as close as you can to recreating that office environment, because I don't think it's ever going to work.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Tandem. I'm actually an investor in one of their competitors called Yak, which is similar idea, but asynchronous, which I think is the absolute key to remote work. I mean, for me personally, the benefit of remote work is not having to be interrupted by my coworkers, not being part of the distraction factory. So I think asynchronous is way more interesting. Alexa, Mark, curious to hear your thoughts.
I mean, I just say like maybe this particular example is a little off in my opinion, but like, I don't know, I've heard of a service called FocusMate and also Tandem, and I don't know, I mean, just taking like the flip side of the conversation, not like, I don't like disagree with you per se, but I think it's kind of cool to figure, at least people are trying to figure out how to make this happen. In my opinion, like, would I use this? I don't know, maybe, I'm not sure if I'd pay for it, but maybe the company would, but it'd be kind of cool to open a window and be like, hey, do you want to have lunch? Versus like doing it on Zoom. I don't really like, I think I do get Zoom fatigue. If there was a easier way to, if there was a way to make it not so tiring and not make me so concentrated on just Zoom and something that's more like part of the environment, I think that's a really interesting piece. I don't know, there's like also questions about this, like, is this too much surveillance in your home? That's an issue, but yeah, I don't know. But I'd say like, I like that. What I do like about what's going on right now is that we are looking for ways to be more connected to each other at a time where we feel like we're physically really disconnected. So
yeah. Building off, go ahead, Alexa.
Yeah, I think it's interesting to think about how most of these solutions are about specifically meetings and paying attention to what the people on the other side of the screen are doing. And some of my best sort of COVID moments have been where we found ways to be together, but not necessarily be giving each other our like full attention. A friend decided to host a DJ set, and I was cooking dinner during the DJ set. And it was nice to have company. It was nice to have like community. So gosh, I heard Dan Pink on Better Up has been doing a video series called Better Up Live. And he said, what are some tools for productivity working from home? And one, he's been seeing people just hang out on Zoom. And so I like this idea that, I don't know, we're creating a virtual library.
Yeah, I could actually see this being nice with friends more so than work, right? Like just having a window to your friends, some of your like best friends.
Totally. And like watching nieces and nephews, like they can't really interact with you on FaceTime or Zoom, but you still want to sit there and hang out and watch them.
Totally. And when you've had enough, you can just close the shade.
But I think what we have to do is have a fundamental shift, because right now, anytime a screen is on in a video conference, it's very much my gut reaction that like I'm here and I'm present. And I don't know if this would necessarily change that. So either finding different ways in which to like interact with each other without being present, or something else like that. I don't know. I have trouble believing that this would like push the behavior change that would need to like get me done with all this Zoom fatigue. I'm definitely fatigued of it.
Yeah, you may feel like you're just constantly being watched. And
Totally.
that builds off of something, Mark, that you were talking about, which is sort of like work surveillance. I guess I'm wondering, if companies started to be like, hey, we're going to bring in this square, we're shipping one to everyone who works here. Is that starting to build an environment of like collaboration, or is it starting to feel more like invasive monitoring of employees?
I don't know. I would think that's really invasive. I'd say like what I've seen, and we're investors in it in a company called TIO that kind of like solves for this, is like, if you can be represented as an avatar, that way I can kind of go AFK from my keyboard and I don't have to actually be present, and I can come back as I please, or pay attention as I please. Like that for me, that'd be better. But yeah, I think this in particular, it seems a little really invasive in my opinion.
Yeah. And again, you're not leveraging kind of the best parts of work from home. Like I think of the asynchronicity as like one of the best parts of working from home, is that you're not held to a productivity standard that's hour-based. You're held to a productivity standard that is the quality of your work. And I feel like this undermines it, on top of it just being, it's totally a surveillance thing. And again, you would just like undermine my productivity and my privacy in my own home. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm a fan. It's like a virtual coffee shop for me. I've always gone public places to study, so it may be what you're used to. It's like, I like going to the gym because I run harder on the treadmill.
Yeah. 100%. Cool. All right, guys, we'll move on to our first cartoon. Cartoonist, do you have something funny for us?
This is kind of what you guys were talking about. And then the second cartoon, talking about privacy.
That's my worst nightmare.
This is all I got.
The videos were cutting off the captions, so I didn't see it, but now that I see it, that's hilarious. Awesome. We'll move on.